Sacred threads, a journey through the world's religions. Before temples rose or scriptures sang, before names like Yahweh, Buddha, or Allah echoed through history, humanity looked up at the stars and asked, "Why are we here?" Sacred Threads is a sweeping 15-part audio odyssey into the heart of our deepest yearnings, for meaning, for order, for the divine. From the silent meditations of Jain monks to the cosmic battles of Zoroastrian myth, from the fire of Sinai to the path beneath the Bodhi tree, this series traces the origins, stories, and living truths of the world's great religions and the new ones still being born. You'll walk with prophets, philosophers, and skeptics. You'll witness the rise of sacred texts and hear the whispered doubts of those who walked away. And through it all, you'll discover not just what others believe, but what belief itself reveals about us. Whether you're faithful, skeptical, or just curious, this is more than a history of religions. It's a mirror, and the question it reflects is eternal. What do you worship when the world falls silent?
The dawn of religion.
Episode 8, Steel and Spirit, Sikhism. Narrator's Prelude. Dawn over the Punjab. Golden light rolls across wheat fields as if poured from a brass lota. Somewhere a bamboo flute gives way to a harmonium, a drum counts a heartbeat. Then a voice begins, low and luminous. Ik onkar, Satnam, Karta Purach, Nirbhau, Nirvair. So opens the Mul Mantra, the seed formula of Sikhism. Tonight we follow a tradition born not in throne room or temple, but in song, sung in Gurmukhi script, carried by farmers and soldiers, queens and cart drivers, and guarded by a people who learn to pray with one hand and defend the defenseless with the other. We will meet the 10 gurus, hear the Guru Granth Sahib speak through ragas, watch the birth of the Khalsa, and witness how steel and spirit forged a community. 1. The River and the Revelation, Guru Nanak, 1469 to 1539. 1.1. A child of the five waters. Nanak is born in 1469 in Talwandi, later Nankana Sahib, near Lahore. The Punjab, land of 5 rivers, is then a crossroads of Sanskrit learning, Sufi poetry, and village folk religion. Muslim sultans rule cities, Bhakti saints and Sufis trade verses under banyan trees. From the start, Nanak pushes past borders. He questions rote ritual, refuses to accept caste as cosmic law, and wanders past shrines of any one faith. His closest companion becomes Mardana, a Muslim bard who plays the rabāb while Nanak sings. The friendship itself is a sermon. 1.2. There is no Hindu, there is no Muslim. Tradition tells of a mystical disappearance. Nanak goes to bathe in the Vain River and vanishes for 3 days. When he returns, his first sentence is seismic. Nako Hindu na Musalman. Not a denial of identities, but a demolition of prideful labels. Beneath them lies one shared reality. Ik Onkar, the one, without rival or second. He begins composing hymns, concise, fierce, compassionate. They praise the Naam, the name, the living presence of the divine, and stress 3 pillars for ordinary life. Naam Japna, remember the name. Kararat, Karna, earn by honest work. Vanchakna, share what you have. 1.3. The Udasas, journeys of a singing pilgrim. Nanak travels far, east toward Bengal and Assam, south to Sri Lanka in some accounts, north into the Himalaya, west toward Mecca and Baghdad, whether literally or in devotional memory. Wherever he goes, he sings, debates, and reforms. A merchant cheating on weight, Nanak composes a hymn on fairness, a ritual that demeans women. He sings, "From woman, man is born. Within woman, man is conceived. With woman, he is engaged and married. Why call her bad, from whom kings are born?" His companions gather as a sangat, a fellowship of listeners who discover that God arrives most plainly where sangat and kirtan, sung scripture, meet. 1.4 Kartarpur and an open kitchen. Late in life, Nanak settles at Kartarpur, Creator's town. Here he institutionalizes langar, a free community kitchen serving anyone, regardless of caste or creed. Diners sit together on the floor in pangat, a leveling of status that is neither symbolic nor optional. To this day, the Sikh community's most recognizable offering is a hot, humble, limitless meal. 1.5 Succession without bloodline. Nanak rejects dynastic instinct. He chooses a successor not by family but fitness. Lena, a humble devotee who becomes Guru Angad. The line of gurus begins, not priests or prophets in the Abrahamic mold, but enlightened teachers who embody and transmit the same current of Shabad, divine word. 2. The Gurus organize a people, 1539 to 1606. 2.1 Guru Angad, 1504 to 1552. Letters and limbs. Guru Angad, formerly Lechna, codifies Gurmukhi, a script supple enough to carry the music of Punjabi speech. This is not mere calligraphy, it is civilizational choice. By fixing the script, he anchors a language and empowers villagers to read sacred words without Sanskrit's gatekeepers. He also promotes Mal Akhara, wrestling arenas, balancing spiritual and physical discipline, and sustains langar with his wife, Mata Kuvi, remembered in scripture for her sweet, nourishing cool. The Guru's house is already a partnership. 2.2 Guru Amar Das, 1479 to 1574, Ladders for the Many. At age 73, Amar Das becomes the third Guru. He builds a stepwell at Goindwal, an architectural sermon on equality. Everyone descends the same stairs to the same water. He organizes the rapidly growing fellowship into manjis, preaching districts, with men and women as heads, a radical delegation that expands reach without losing cohesion. His compositions include the Anand, Song of Bliss, later woven into the Sikh wedding ceremony, Anand Karaj. He campaigns against sati, widow burning, and purda, and insists that even visiting emperors must first sit in pangat before darshan, audience. Ethics is not footnote, but frame. 2.3 Guru Ram Das, 1534 to 1581, a city around a pool. Ram Das founds a new settlement around a sacred tank, Amritsar, the pool of nectar. He begins excavations. The city grid is practical, the vision enduring, a center where commerce, devotion, and service interweave. His hymns on marriage, humility, and refuge remain core to Sikh devotion. 2.4 Guru Arjan, 1563 to 1606, Temple and Text. With Guru Arjan, the community's ideals take stone form. He completes the Harmandir, Temple of the Sovereign, later called the Golden Temple, uniquely built lower than the surrounding land, with doors on all four sides. Anyone may enter. He seats scripture at the center, not an idol. Music floats from the sanctum over rippling water. He then compiles the Adi Granth, 1604, installing it with ceremony and appointing Bhai Buddha as the first Granthi, scripture custodian. The anthology gathers not only the first 5 gurus' hymns, but the verses of Bhagats, saints like Kabir, Namdev, Ravidas, Sheikh Farid, whose devotion transcended sect lines. This curation is theological. Truth is recognized by its fragrance, not its label. Political weather turns. Under Emperor Akbar, relations are cordial. The emperor even visits Langar. Under his successor, Jahangir, court intrigue and local rivalries metastasize. In 1606, Guru Arjan is arrested, fined and tortured. Accounts differ in detail but converge on martyrdom. The community's grief hardens into resolve. Steel enters the song. 3. Mo P. The Two Swords, 1606 to 1644. 3.1 Guru Hargobind, 1595 to 1644. Saint Soldier. Guru Hargobind, Arjan's son, dons two swords at his investiture, Pir Samir, spiritual authority, and Manesar, temporal responsibility. He builds the Akal Takht, the throne of the Timeless One, opposite the Harmandir. Where scripture sings in the temple, sovereignty speaks from the Takht. The pairing is deliberate. Religion without justice is mute. Justice without spirit is blind. He trains Akaras of horsemen and archers, not for plunder but defense. Folk memory celebrates the Bandi Chor episode. Freed from Mughal detention at Gwalior Fort, he refuses release unless 52 unjustly held Rajas go with him. He returns to Amritsar on Diwali, lights blazing. Sikhs still celebrate Bandi Chor Divas, the Day of Liberation, alongside Diwali. Clashes with Mughal forces punctuate his tenure, but so do alliances with Hindu hill Rajas and cordial moments with imperial officers. The message is pragmatic fidelity. Protect the weak, restrain the cruel, negotiate where possible, stand firm when needed. 4. The Quiet Flame, 1644 to 1664. 4.1 Guru Har Rai, 1630 to 1661. A garden and a clinic. Guru Har Rai, Hargobind's grandson, maintains a trained bodyguard but leans healer rather than fighter. He keeps a medicinal garden at Kiratpur Sahib and reportedly provides life-saving herbs to Dara Shuko, the Sufi-minded Mughal prince later executed by his orthodox brother Aurangzeb. When Har Rai's own son, Ram Rai, compromises a verse's meaning to please Aurangzeb, the Guru disowns him, underscoring scriptural integrity over court favour. 4.2 Guru Har Krishan, 1656 to 1664. The Child Healer. At age 5, Har Krishan becomes Guru. By 8, he dies in Delhi during a smallpox outbreak, tending the afflicted and earning the tender honorific Bail Hari Krishan. His last words, Baba Bakale, signal that the next Guru resides at Bakala. Amid imperial suspicion and family claimants, the line will leap into a contemplative's hands. 5. Fear none, frighten none. Guru Tegh Bahadur, 1621-1675. 5.1. The ninth Guru steps from solitude. A poet-warrior and son of Hargobind, Tegh Bahadur has spent years in meditative retreat. He founds Chaknanaki, later Anandpur Sahib, and composes saloks that sound like mountain air, paired, exact, fearless. 5.2. A martyr for others' conscience. In 1675, Brahmin scholars from Kashmir threatened with forced conversion campaigns, seek help. Tegh Bahadur travels to Delhi, declares that if the Guru can be made to submit, his followers will follow, but if he stands, coercion fails. He is beheaded in Chandni Chowk. His companions are gruesomely executed. Bhai Jaita, later honoured as Bhai Jivan Singh, carries the severed head through monsoon and patrols back to Anandpur. Another devotee, Lakhi Shah Vanjara, cremates the body by setting his house aflame to escape notice. The places of sacrifice become Gurdwara Sisganj Sahib and Rakhabganj in Delhi. Sikhs remember Tegh Bahadur as Hind Deb Chadar, the shield of India, not for theological agreement with Kashmiri Pandits, but for defending freedom of conscience. The ethic is clear. The Sikh path protects the right of others to walk their path. 6. The 10th Guru and the birth of the Khalsa, 1666 to 1708. 6.1. The Poet General. Gobind Singh, born 1666 in Patna Sahib, inherits both a broken heart and a burning mandate. A master archer and brilliant poet, he creates a court at Anandpur humming with music, calligraphy, and arms training. Around him swirl alliances and sieges. Hill Rajas of the Shivaliks resent his growing influence. Imperial officers watch warily. 6.2 Vaisak, 1699. The Call for Heads. On Vaisakar, Spring Harvest Festival, 1699, crowds gather at Anandpur. The Guru, eyes like torches, unsheathes a sword and asks for a head. A stunned silence. Then Daya Ram, a Khatri from Lahore, steps forward. The Guru leads him inside a tent. The blade flashes. Blood spills in a basin, so witnesses report. The Guru reappears, asks again. 4 more men answer: Dharam Das, Jat, Mokam Chand, washerman, Sahib Chand, barber, Himat Rai, water carrier. Finally, the tent opens. The 5 emerge alive, radiant, dressed alike. The Guru administers Amrit, sweetened water stirred in an iron bowl with a double-edged sword, while 5 banis are recited. He calls them the Panj Pyare, the 5 beloved ones, and bids them initiate him in turn. Guru becomes disciple. Disciple becomes Guru. This moment birthed the Khalsa, the Guru's own sovereign community. The ceremony renames the 5, Singh, lion, for men, Kaur, sovereign, princess, for women, titles that erase caste surnames. The Khalsa will wear 5 Ks as vows made visible. Kesh, unshorn hair, honoring natural form and discipline. Kangha, wooden comb, cleanliness within simplicity. Kara, steel bangle, restraint and unbroken link to the Guru. Kirpan, sword, a duty to protect others, not license to attack. Kachera, tailored shorts, sexual restraint and readiness for action. The Khalsa ethic fuses bhakti, devotion, with shakti, power. The slogan, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. The Khalsa belongs to the wondrous Guru. Victory belongs to the wondrous Guru. Anchors courage in humility. 6.3 War and Sacrifice. Sieges tighten. Under pressure and deceitful oaths of safe passage, the Sikhs evacuate Anandpur. In the chaotic crossings of the Sarsa River, manuscripts and mementos are lost. The Guru's party scatters. 2 of his elder sons, Ajit Singh and Jujhar Singh, fall in the ferocious battle of Chamkar, holding a fortress against overwhelming numbers. His younger sons, Zorawar Singh and Fateh Singh, are captured at Sirhind and, when they refuse to convert, bricked alive by the Viceroy Wazir Khan. Their grandmother Mata Gujri dies of exposure in captivity. The Sahibzade become the tender, terrible icons of Sikh fidelity. The Guru rallies remnants in the Machiwara forests, composes and strikes. He writes the Zafarnama, Epistle of Victory, to Aurangzeb, indicting broken promises and lifting moral courage over imperial force. When all peaceful means have failed, it is righteous to draw the sword. The letter is both rebuke and invitation to conscience. 6.4 The Guru's Last Command, Granth and Panth. After Aurangzeb dies, 1707, the political chessboard shifts. The Guru, now in Nanded, Deccan, is stabbed by an assassin's blade. The wound seems to heal, but ruptures after the bowstring draws tight another day. Before his death in 1708, he makes a final, revolutionary bequest. The Guruship of spirit and word passes to the Guru Granth Sahib, the scripture, as the eternal Guru, Guru Maneo Granth. Temporal leadership resides in the Guru Panth, the collective Khalsa acting in line with the Guru's word. No human successor replaces him. The soul of authority is now a partnership, scripture as compass, community as hands and feet. 7. The scripture that sings. Guru Granth Sahib. 7.1 Architecture of a Singing Book. The Guru Granth Sahib, standardized form 1708, expanded earlier as the Adi Granth, contains hymns in 31 rags, musical modes. It speaks in Punjabi, Sadhukari, Braja, Persian, Marathi, and more, because truth travels many tongues. Organization by rag means this is not a doctrinal digest, it is a songbook for transformation. The sonic form matters. Sikhs encounter the Guru by listening to kirtan, not merely reading silently. 7.2. The Core Confession, Mool Mantra and Japji. Every morning begins with Japji Sahib, first composition in the Granth, seeded by the Mool Mantra. Ik Onkar, one reality. Sat Nam, true name. Karta Parak, creative being. Nirbhau, without fear. Nirvaya, without enmity. Akal Murat, timeless form. Ajunuri, unborn. Saibang, self-existent. Gurprasad, by the Guru's grace. The rest of Japji steps through stages of practice from listening, sunyai, and obedience, hukam, to the khans, realms, of spiritual development, ending with Nanak's signature, Nanak Nam Chahdi Kala, Terebane Sarbat Dabhala. Through your name may we rise in high spirits, in your will may all prosper. The horizon is universal welfare, not tribal victory. 7.3. No idol, but word. In a Gurdwara, the Guru's door, the Guru Granth Sahib rests on a raised throne, takht. Devotees bow, not to paper and ink, but to Shabad Guru, the living word that addresses and recreates the listener. Free from images of God or the Gurus, the space directs attention to sound and service. The only food offered to the Guru is shared, Kara Prasad, a warm sweet of flour, sugar and ghee, symbol of equal grace. 7.4. A canon of inclusion. Alongside the Guru's voices stand Bhagats from Hindu and Muslim lineages, many of low caste origin. Their inclusion is not a museum of tolerance, it is a living interfaith within the scripture. The test is spiritual aroma, humility, devotion, justice. 8. After the Gurus, from Banda Singh Bahadur to the Confederacy, 1708 to 1799. 8.1 Banda Singh Bahadur, Revolution in the Fields. Shortly before his death, Guru Gobind Singh commissions Banda Singh Bahadur, born Lakhman Das, a Bairag ascetic turned Sikh, to lead resistance against Syrian's tyrannies. Between 1709 to 1715, Banda's Khalsa bands sweep through Punjab, abolish zamindar landlordism in territories they control, and grant land to tillers, a social upheaval as radical as it is short-lived. He mints coins invoking the Guru's name, Deg Teg Fateh, Deg, cauldron of charity, Teg, sword of justice, and briefly establishes Logar as a capital. Mughal reprisals are brutal. Banda is captured after a siege and executed in Delhi, along with hundreds of companions. The immediate political project collapses, but a template of sovereignty tethered to service remains etched in memory.
8.2 Decades of Persecution and Resilience.
The 18th century becomes a crucible. Afghan warlord Ahmad Shah Abdali, Durrani, invades repeatedly. Local officials and opportunists join cycles of retribution. Sikhs go to the forests and marshes, organizing as Jathas bands and later Missiles confederacies. Two collective traumas scar the century. Chota Galugara, the Lesser Massacre, 1746. Thousands killed near the Ravi. Vada Galugara, the Great Massacre, 1762. Tens of thousands die near Kuprana, many while protecting a moving caravan of women, children, and scripture. Yet from ashes rises Chard Kala, ever-rising spirit. By century's end, Missiles under leaders like Charat Singh and Mahan Singh, grandfather and father of Ranjit Singh, Jassa Singh Ahluwalia, Baghal Singh, and Hari Singh Bhangi control swathes of Punjab, raid Delhi, and hoist the Nishan Sahib on the Red Fort. Brief symbolic gestures of autonomy against the fading Mughal sun. 9. The Khalsa ethic in daily life. Before we cross into Empire and Modernity, Part 2, pause inside a Sikh home and Gurdwara to see how theology becomes texture.
9.1 Nitnem, the rhythm of prayer.
Amrit-initiated Sikhs keep a Nitnem, daily regimen. Jap Jaunchej, Sahib at dawn, Jap Sahib, Tav Prasad Savaye, and Chaupai Sahib from later Sikh liturgical tradition, often included. Rehra Sahib at dusk, Kirtan Sohila at bedtime. Non-initiated Sikhs may adapt the cycle. The point is not recital points, but remembered presence threaded through a workday. 9.2 Seva and Langar. Seva is love made practical. It could mean scrubbing shoes at the Gurdwara entrance, chopping onions in the kitchen, running a blood donation camp, or dispatching food trucks after a flood. Langar operationalizes seva, chopping, stirring, serving, cleaning, a choreography of equality. The menu is simple, vegetarian, so all may partake, and inexhaustible. 9.3 The 5 Ks lived. Kesh requires patient grooming. Dastars, turbans, protect hair and crown dignity. Kara taps the wrist when the hand strays. Its circle mirrors Ik Onkar's unity. Kirpan hangs small or large. Law courts in many countries now recognize it as a religious article of faith, not a weapon, a reminder of the duty to intervene against injustice. Kangha, tucked within the hair, is practical sanctity. Kachera answers both modesty and readiness. 9.4 Weddings, births, funerals. Anand Karaj, wedding, circles the scripture as Levan hymns describe stages of love's union. The couple is tied by scarf, but the knot is through the word, not property. Newborns receive a name by randomly opening the Granth and taking the first letter of the first line on the left page. Funerals, Antim Ardas, emphasize hukam, divine order, and Simran, remembrance. Ashes may be scattered in rivers, but the work of Siva continues. 10. Ideas that shape a people. 10.1 God beyond and within. Sikhism refuses the idol of either-or. God is nirgun, without attributes, and sargun, present in attributes. The one shines in forms, yet is not trapped by any. This allows ardent devotion without mythic literalism. 10.2 Hukam and Haumai. The universe moves by hukam, divine order. To live in hukam is to align action with reality, like a boat steering with current, not against it. The obstacle is haumai, ego obsession, a sticky illusion that I am separate, masterful, owed. The medicine is Naam, Siva, and Sangat. 10.3 Equality and caste. The gurus denounced caste repeatedly. Langar dramatizes the critique. Yet social habits die slowly. Sikh history includes anti-caste saints, e.g. Ravidas's hymns in scripture, and modern communities, e.g. Ravidasya, pressing for dignity. The ideal is clear, no high or low, and leadership open to all. 10.4 Gender and Sovereignty. From Mai Bhago, the warrior who rallied deserters in 1705, to modern Kaur leaders, Sikhism envisions women as fully sovereign. The Khalsa names codify it. Singh and Kaur replace caste surnames. Anand Karaj centers partnership. Kirtan and Ardas welcome women's voices. Practice often lags vision, but the scriptural compass points true. The harmonium fades, a distant horse snorts. The Nishan Sahib snaps in a light breeze above a pool of nectar. The seed Nanak planted has become a grove, sheltering, singing, and, when storms threaten, standing like oak. In Part 2, we will ride with Maharaja Ranjit Singh as he builds a plural empire from the missiles, march into the Anglo-Sikh wars, annexation, and Singh Sabha revival. Enter the 20th century's fires. Jallianwala Bagh, Gurdwara reform, partition. Face the late-century crucible, Operation Blue Star and its aftermath, and the diaspora's resilience. Close with today's Sikh ethics, Siva in disasters, advocacy for religious freedom, farmers' protests, and the global song of Sarbat Dabala. The marble of the Harmandir Sahib is warm under bare feet. Morning kirtan pours from the sanctum like sunlight made sound. The water around the temple ripples with each tabla stroke. Across the square, the Akal Takht waits, a throne of temporal duty facing a sanctuary of eternal word. Between the two, people walk, farmers and soldiers, students and grandmothers, threading their lives through this aisle of song and steel. We pick up the story where part one paused. The gurus have ended. The Granth has been enthroned as the eternal guru, and a people formed by langar, seva, and Khalsa discipline must learn to steer through the tempests of empire and modernity. 11. The Lion of the Punjab, Ranjit Singh and the Sikh Empire, 1799 to 1839. 11.1 From Missiles to a Kingdom. The 18th century left the Khalsa dispersed into missiles, semi-autonomous confederacies of cavalry. Out of this mosaic rises Ranjit Singh, born 1780, heir to the Sukha Chakya missile. Smallpox has scarred one eye, diplomacy and daring sharpen the other. In 1799 he seizes Lahore, and over the next decades he stitches the missiles into a state that will be remembered as the Sikh Empire. 11.2 Governance without bigotry. Ranjit Singh styles himself Sarkar-e-Khalsa, head of a commonwealth, and vows protection of all. He forbids the desecration of mosques, funds Hindu temples and Sufi shrines, and gilds the Harmandir Sahib, whose sanctum already glowed with scripture. His court includes Fakir Azizuddin, a Muslim foreign minister, Raja Dhyan Singh, a Dogra Hindu noble, and European officers who train the army. His coins bear inscriptions to the Akal Purakh, timeless one, not to himself. He outlaws sati, widow burning, in his domain, and discourages cow slaughter to honor Hindu sentiment, policies that, however paternal by today's standards, signal a pragmatic pluralism rare for the era. 11.3 The Khalsa Army Modernized. French and Italian veterans of Napoleon, Allard, Ventura, Court, Avitabile, help reorganize the Fauji Khas, regular army. Drill, artillery, and logistics transform irregular cavalry into a disciplined force. The empire expands. Multan falls. Kashmir is annexed, 1819. The Khyber is crossed. Peshawar is held, briefly and at cost. At the same time, Ranjit Singh signs the Treaty of Amritsar, 1809, with the East India Company, freezing the Sutlej as a border and avoiding premature war. 11.4a Court of Brass and Brush. Lahore's Darbar becomes a gallery. Ivory miniatures, Persian manuscripts, Sikh arms inlaid with Koftgari silver. European travelogues marvel that the Maharaja sits not on a golden peacock throne, but on the floor, cross-legged, while emissaries bow to a one-eyed king in a simple turban. Power without pomp, faith without fanaticism. This is the empire's self-portrait. 11.5 The cracks beneath the gilding. No human arrangement is permanent. Ranjit Singh's succession is fragile. Factionalism simmers among Dogra nobles, Santawalia relatives, and palace cliques. When the lion dies in 1839, the glue softens. Within 10 years, the empire will fall, not because the Khalsa forgot how to fight, but because backroom bargains eroded the will to hold. 12. Collapse and Annexation. The Anglo-Sikh Wars, 1845 to 1849. 12.1 A Carousel of Coronations. After Ranjit Singh, Karak, Singh reigns briefly and dies. His son now Nihal. Singh dies in a mysterious gate accident. Sher Singh takes the throne and is assassinated. The regent Maharani Jind Kaur fights for her son Duleep Singh, a child. Amid this chaos, Dogra courtiers Lal Singh and Tej Singh rise, their loyalties suspect. 12th.2. The First Anglo-Sikh War, 1845 to 46. Skirmishes along the Sutlej ignite war. Battles at Mudki, Ferozeshah, Aliwal, and Sobraun are brutal. The Khalsa soldiers fight with ferocity, but treachery at the top. Generals failing to press advantage or retreating at the worst moment thwarts victory. The Treaty of Lahore, 1846, cedes the Julundur Doab to the British and places a British resident in Lahore. The Treaty of Amritsar sells Kashmir to Gulab Singh, making him Maharaja, an act that Sikhs remember as a betrayal, a jewel bought with their blood. 12th. The Second Anglo-Sikh War, 1848 to 49. Insurgency flares, the British commit. Battles at Chilianwala, a Pyrrhic British tactical edge, and Gujarat, a decisive British victory, end the empire. In 1849, the company annexes the Punjab. The Koh-i-Noor diamond is seized. The boy Duleep Singh is exiled, converted to Christianity, and later received like a curiosity in the British court, his life a tragic footnote to imperial appetite. The annexation is not just political loss, it is spiritual whiplash. The community that had learned to balance miri piri, temporal, spiritual, must now reinvent itself under a power that wants its soldiers, but not its sovereignty. 13. Under the Raj, Reform, Resistance, and Revival, 1849 to 1947. 13.1. Canal colonies and martial races. The British pour canals across Punjab, turning scrubland into wheat fields. They also cultivate the idea of martial races, recruiting Sikhs, admired for discipline, into the Indian Army. Sikh regiments serve across the empire, from the northwest frontier to Mesopotamia, Gallipoli, France, and East Africa in World War I, again across North Africa, Italy, and Burma in World War II. Pride intertwines with ambivalence. Valor is honored, but autonomy is not returned. 13.2. Singh Sabha. Text, Identity, and Printing Press. When political power dissolves, cultural power steps forward. The Singh Sabha movement, born in the 1870s, seeks to recover and clarify Sikh identity in the face of missionary polemic and Hindu reform movements. Leaders like Gyani Dit Singh, Bhai Khan Singh Nabha, author of Ham Hindu Nahin, We Are Not Hindus, and Bhai Veer Singh Champion, Gurmukhi Literacy, Modern Schools and Colleges, Khalsa Tract Society pamphlets, reprinting and standardizing Gurbani. Out of ferment emerges the Sikh Rehat Maryada, a code of conduct finalized in the 1940s by the community's elected body, guiding ceremonies, daily prayers, and community governance. 13.3. Gurdwara Reform and the Akalis. By the early 1900s, many shrines are controlled by mahants, hereditary custodians, some accused of corruption. The Akali movement, 1920s, organizes peaceful occupation and reform. Tragedy strikes at Nankana Sahib, 1921, when hired thugs massacre reformers. Public outrage forces change. The Shiromani Gurdwara Parbandhak Committee, SGPC, forms, 1920, and the Sikh Gurdwaras Act, 1925, places major shrines under elected management, a rare instance of religious democracy installed by mass movement. 13.4. Jallianwala Bagh, 1919, and the turning of a tide. On 13th April 1919, in Amritsar, a peaceful gathering, men, women, children, fills an enclosed garden. General Dyer orders troops to fire without warning. Hundreds fall, official counts understate, eyewitnesses recall far more. The massacre shocks the world, galvanizes Indian nationalism, and leaves an acid memory in Sikh, Hindu, and Muslim hearts alike. The Raj's mask has slipped. 13.5. Gadar and Komagata Maru. In 1913, Punjabi expatriates in North America and Asia found the Ghadar Party, publishing revolutionary papers and plotting insurrection. Their uprising fails, but the idea travels. The Komagata Maru incident, 1914, a ship of mostly Sikh migrants denied entry to Canada and forced back, exposes racial exclusion. Back in India, police fire on returning passengers at Budge Budge. Diaspora and homeland knit through grief and resolve. 14. Partition, a torn Punjab, 1947. 14.1. Borders on maps, blood on trains. When British India is partitioned into India and Pakistan in 1947, Punjab is cleaved. The Sikh heartland is divided. Nankana Sahib, Panja Sahib, Kartarpur, Lahore, and many historic Gurdwaras land in West Punjab, Pakistan. Amritsar, Anandpur, and Patiala remain in East Punjab, India. The human cost is staggering. Caravans of refugees move both directions. Trains of corpses arrive at stations. Estimates of the dead reach into the hundreds of thousands across communities. Many Sikhs flee ancestral lands. Many Muslims flee the East. Stories of horror are matched by stories of courage. Villagers shielding neighbors of another faith. Sikhs rescuing Muslim families they had known for generations. Trauma etches deep, but so does memory of shared humanity. 14.2. Rebuilding Lives. Sikhs resettle in East Punjab and Delhi, founding new markets and factories. Gurdwaras in Pakistan are maintained by small local communities and Pakistani authorities. Pilgrimage is restricted for decades, then slowly reopens. In 2019, the Kartarpur corridor allows visa-free access from India to Gurdwara Darbar Sahib, Kartarpur, the site where Guru Nanak spent his final years, reuniting many with a home of the heart across a hard border. 15. Statehood, Revolution, and the Crucible, 1947 to 1995. 15.1. Punjabi Suba and Reorganization. Post-independence, Sikhs press for a Punjabi-speaking state. After non-violent agitations led by Sant Fateh Singh and others, India reorganizes in 1966. Haryana is carved from Hindi-speaking districts. Himachal Pradesh expands. Punjab becomes a smaller, Sikh-majority state. Chandigarh is created as a shared capital and union territory, an arrangement that will remain an irritant. 15.2. The Green Revolution. New seeds, fertilizers, and canals turn Punjab into India's breadbasket in the late 1960s to 70s. Prosperity rises, so do debts, soil depletion, and water stress. Economic change tugs at social fabric. At the same time, politics grows fractious. The Shiromani Akali Dal advances cultural and federal demands in the Anandpur Sahib Resolution 1973, often misread as separatist. It articulates greater state autonomy within India's federation and protection for Sikh identity. 15.3. The Rise of Militancy and Operation Blue Star, 1984. In the late 1970s, early 1980s, preacher Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale emerges as a fiery voice against social ills and for Sikh assertion. Amid factional politics and police abuses, militant violence spreads. Assassinations, bombings, counter-violence follows. In June 1984, the Indian Army launches Operation Blue Star to flush militants from the Harmandir Sahib complex, where Bhindranwale and armed followers have fortified positions. The battle rages through Guru Arjan's martyrdom day. The Akal Takht is heavily damaged. The shrine is struck. Pilgrims and combatants die. Numbers remain contested. Grief does not. Many Sikhs across the world feel sacrilege and sorrow. In the countryside, Operation Woodrose extends the crackdown. Innocent families are swept into detentions alongside insurgents. The wound will take generations to process. 15.4. Assassination and Pogroms, October-November 1984. On 31st October 1984, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi is assassinated by her Sikh bodyguards. Within hours and days, organized mobs, often with political complicity, unleash anti-Sikh pogroms in Delhi and other cities. Homes and gurdwaras burned, men hunted by kerosene and iron rods, women assaulted, children orphaned. Thousands are killed. Survivors still wait, in many cases, for full justice. 15.5 Insurgency and Counterinsurgency, 1985 to 1995. Punjab plunges into a decade of insurgency and counterinsurgency. Train bombings and targeted killings on one side, extrajudicial executions, disappearances, and torture on the other. Operation Black Thunder, 1988, reclaims the Harmandir complex with fewer casualties. Democracy flickers, dims, returns. In 1995, Chief Minister Beant Singh is assassinated. By the mid-1990s, the insurgency collapses under local exhaustion and heavy policing. The quiet that follows is welcome but uneven. Justice is patchy, memory raw. 16. A global people, diaspora, identity, and savor. 16.1 From Mills to Ministries. Sikhs had sailed to Hong Kong, Southeast Asia, East Africa, Britain and North America since the late 19th century. After 1947 and again after the 1980s, they leave Punjab in larger numbers. Today they are mayors and mechanics, truckers and technologists. In Britain, Sikhs helped rebuild post-war industry and now sit in Parliament. British law has long exempted turban-wearing Sikhs from motorcycle helmet requirements and, more recently, from some workplace hard hat mandates. In Canada, Sikhs serve as cabinet ministers, police officers, and military personnel. Turbans are part of the RCMP uniform after a landmark case in the 1990s. In the United States, decades of advocacy win accommodations in the army and other agencies for turbans and beards as articles of faith. Sikhs serve openly in uniform. 16.2 Post 9/11 and Oak Creek. After September 11, 2001, turbans and beards made Sikhs targets for mistaken hate. Community groups formed, the Sikh Coalition, SALDF, United Sikhs, to educate, litigate, and protect. In 2012, a white supremacist murders 6 worshippers at the Oak Creek, Wisconsin Gurdwara. The Sangat responds with prayer and outreach, establishing a template of resilience without retaliation. 16.3 Langar without walls. If any tradition was built for crisis, it is one whose core ritual is feeding strangers. During earthquakes, floods, and pandemics, Sikh organizations, Khalsa Aid, United Sikhs, local Gurdwaras, set up langar tents at borders and shelters. In 2020-21, amid India's farmers' protests, Sikhs and their allies transform highways into kitchens, libraries, and clinics. Seva scaled to a city. Around the world during COVID-19 lockdowns, Gurdwaras deliver hot meals and oxygen, proving that a theology of service can move as fast as a virus. 16.4 The Kirpan in Court and Classroom. From London schools to New Jersey courthouses, the Kirpan, vowed Sikh sword, forces societies to balance safety and conscience. Most legal systems now treat the Kirpan as a religious article with guidelines, size, sheath, intent. Each case educates. The Kirpan is not a dagger of aggression, but a symbol of duty to protect the vulnerable. 17. The Pulse of Daily Faith, Gurudwara, Sangat, and Song. 17.1 How a Day Begins. At Amrit Vela, pre-dawn, Sikhs recite Jap Shing Sahib. The day arcs through Rehras at dusk and Kirtan Sahila at night. It is not performance, but practice. Naam remembered in traffic, at factory bench, in classroom. Even those who don't keep the full cycle feel the cadence of verses as breath marks on the day. Sembilan belas koma dua Sangat dan Pangat. Sangat, holy company, and pangat, eating in a line on the floor, embody equality. The architecture is open, 4 doors to the sanctuary, a Nishan Sahib, saffron flag, standing watch outside. Inside, Granthi and Ragis, scripture readers and musicians, sing rag-based hymns. Many diasporic gurdwaras teach tabla and harmonium to children, so the next generation inherits the sound. 17.3 Weddings and Names. At Anand Karaj, the couple circles the Guru as the Lavan hymns describe deeper union, from duty to joy to grace to oneness. Newborns are often named by the first letter of a randomly opened verse, a gentle surrender of ego at the start of a life. 17.4 Gatka and Grace. The martial art Gatka, flashing sticks, swords, and chakram rings, trains agility and restraint. During Nagar Kabatans, processions, Gatka troops remind spectators that the Khalsa's steel is not swagger, but service on call. 18. Ideas for a Century on Fire. Atrafal, Sarbat Dabhala, and Chard Kala. The closing line of daily ardors, prayer, asks for Sarbat Dabhala, the welfare of all. This is not sentiment, it is policy. Vote, spend, eat, and build as if others' children are your own. Chardakala, ever-rising spirit, demands joy without naivety, courage without cruelty. 18.2 Environment and the Field. Punjab's success brought pesticide-laced soil, falling water tables, and farmer debt. Sikh environmentalists invoke Guru Nanak's line, "Air is the teacher, water the father, earth the great mother," to push for crop diversification, organic methods, and water harvesting. Langar kitchens install solar. Gurdwaras plant native groves. Faith becomes ecology with sleeves rolled up. 18.3 Caste and Gender. Scripture denounces caste, yet discrimination shadows life. Endogamous marriage patterns, separate Gurdwaras in some villages. Activists inspired by Ravidas's hymns insist the word's equality must become worldly equality. On gender, the Khalsa's pledge remains radical. Kaur as sovereign. Women lead sangats, teach and serve in elected roles. Debates continue over traditions that have restricted women from singing at certain shrines. The compass points toward full inclusion. Practice is catching up. 18.4 Dialogue without dilution. Sikhism was born in dialogue. Nanak sang with a Muslim rabāb, welcomed bhagats of all paths into scripture. Today, Sikhs serve in interfaith councils, coach Know Your Neighbour programs, and host langar at parliaments. The stance is neither relativism nor polemic. Hold your centre. Open your door. 19. The Sikh imagination in culture and politics. 19.1 Literature and Film. Punjabi writers and filmmakers wrestle with Partition, 1984, and diaspora identity, stories of loss and stubborn hope. Curtain albums blend classic rags with new orchestration. Rappers rhyme marpa into verses of self-defense and savor. 19.2 Public Life. Sikhs hold office as mayors, legislators, ministers. They lead farmers' unions, human rights NGOs, and startups. In many democracies, they are hyper-visible, turbans, beards, and understood slowly. Each court case won for the kirpan, each school assembly about the turban, is a page in civic catechism. 19.3 The Diaspora's Debates. From referenda to memorials, Sikhs abroad argue about memory and nation. Some foreground Khalistan, a proposed Sikh homeland. Others insist the sovereignty of the Guru Panth is moral, not territorial. The community does what it has always done: sangat, argue, sing, feed, and keep walking. 20. Epilogue. Steel in the song, song in the steel. Night again at Amritsar. The last curtain softens, The Guru Granth Sahib is carried in a palanquin, wrapped in brocade and reverence to the Akal Takht for the night's rest. Outside, the Nishan Sahib leans into the wind, a saffron flame against the indigo sky. Sikhism began as a melody under an open sky, Guru Nanak's insistence that beyond our little labels there is one, not far but near as breath. In centuries that followed, that melody learned rhythm, langar, savour, equality, courage. It learned harmony, the Granth and the Panth, word and community, each checking and sustaining the other. And when storms blew, empires, pogroms, wars, the community took up steel without putting down the song. Today, wherever a Sikh ties a turban at dawn, sharpens a mind on Japjio, picks up a kirpan with the promise never to bully and never to stand idle when others are harmed, the Khalsa is born again. Wherever a Gurdwara door opens and strangers are fed, Guru Nanak stands at Kartarpur again. Wherever a citizen argues for freedom of conscience, even for those of another faith, Guru Tegh Bahadur walks to Delhi again. Wherever a community rebuilds after terror without vengeance, the Sangat rises again. The world needs this pairing, steel and spirit, perhaps more than ever, backs that do not bend to tyranny and hands that will not let the hungry go unfed. To live Marpas is to insist that justice and joy belong together. The drum falls silent, the pool grows still. A last whisper from the sanctum crosses the water. Nam chard kala, teribhane sarbat dabhala. By your name may our spirits rise. In your will may all flourish.